Welcome back to this video. So let's continue with the discussion. So question 21 shows that this is an structural formula for an alkane. So we are going to identify the IUPAC name for the compound. So at first, actually what is IUPAC name of the compound? It is we can say it is a standardized method or standard name given to each compound, given to each chemical compound. So it is important to avoid any confusion that occurs among the discussions between the scientists or the chemists. Okay, so how are we going to identify the structure, the IUPAC name for this compound is, okay, firstly, this is an alkane. So we know that alkane is a hydrocarbon. It is a hydrocarbon, meaning that it is only consists of C and H. C and H. So it means that it don't have any functional group. So the first thing you need to identify is the parent chain. So how to identify the parent chain? You need to find the longest carbon chain that you can make. So in this method, in this case, we can see that this is the longer chain. Why I say so is because this is the first carbon atom, second, third, and fourth. So we know that this parent chain, it has a 4C carbon. So for alkane that start with 4C is butane. So we can use the method, the deletion method. Sorry, we can use the deletion method to cancel some of the answers, some of the options that is not possible. So for A, for sure it won't be the answer because the longest parent chain means alkane is only 4C, so it should be start with butane. So D also not possible because the parent chain always at the back, it is a propane. So since we already identified the butane, the parent chain is the butane, so we will know that B and C, one of it will be the answer. So, and then we can see this is the side chain. This is the side chain because it is not contained in these 4C carbon chain. So we need to, when we want to give the number for the side chain, we need to choose the one that is the smallest number. So in this case, here is one. We can go from left hand side to right hand side, or we can go for this way to this way. So for the right hand side, for the red numbers, it is 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if we start from green color, that is from this side, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the answer would be 2. Why? Because we need to choose the numbers for the side chains that is smaller. So 2 and 3, which one smaller? Definitely the letter 2, the number 2 is smaller than 3. So the answer for this question will be 2-methyl butane. Okay, question 22. Hydrocarbon is an organic compound that containing only carbon and hydrogen atom. Based on the statement above, which of the following organic compound is hydrocarbon? So we need to find this. This question already gives you the hint, which is hydrocarbon only consists of C and H. So protein, even though it mainly consists of CH, but sometimes it can contain phosphorus or sulfur in the protein, so it is not a hydrocarbon. And then for starch, actually it's the carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, the major elements that make out of carbohydrate is C, H, and O. So this is also not the answer. Meanwhile, for alcohol, it is a organic compound that contains CHO. Why? Because the general formula for alcohol is CnH2n plus 1 OH. So since they already consist of the elements that other than C and H, so the answer would be C, petrol. So for your information, petrol is also a type of alkane. Okay, question 23. What is the homologous series for the propylpropanoate? So this is very special. So I think most of you will know that this is actually an ester, because ester is the only organic compound that has two parts that made up the ester name. Yeah. Okay, question 24. Compound P undergoes the combustion in excess oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. So the keywords is combustion in excess oxygen, produce carbon dioxide and water. So we need to find what is compound P. So for sure here is the organic compound. And then this requires you need to know this is a balance equation. So from the equation given, we have 2C. Okay, so definitely D is not acceptable. And then we need to find, the second thing we can notice is the H over here is only 6. We have 6 hydrogen atoms. So also A will not be the answer. Okay, so here, and then we need to observe the number of oxygen atoms in this case. So in front we have 6 oxygen, because 3 times 2 equals to 6, and then the afterwards here is 4 and here is 3. So at the right hand side we have 7 O, but at the left hand side we have 6 O. So it means that here the compound P must contain 1 oxygen atom so that it can be a balanced equation. So the answer would be C. Okay, so let's continue with question 25. Which of the following will absorb heat from the surrounding? So this requires your basic knowledge in thermochemistry. So if the reaction is absorb heat from the surrounding, it is an endothermic reaction. Okay, so combustion reaction is the most easiest one, because when you burn something, it will release the heat energy. And then for cellular respiration, we will also release some heat energy, because you can test or you can feel the warm air that you exhale. Yeah, so the answer would be A and C. So sometimes if you're not really sure about the answers, you can use the deletion method that helps you to eliminate some answers that is not possible. Yeah. So question 26, okay, this is a diagram showing the formation of clouds when the water vapor evaporates from the sea. So if this is evaporation, so evaporation needs to absorb heat energy so that the liquid will go to the gas form. So what is the heat change and type of process occurs when the water evaporates? So this is very easy lah. The question already tells you that this is an evaporation. So your answer will only be A or C. So the answer is C because you need to absorb the energy. Okay. Question 27 is also a IUPAC name identification question like the previous question. So this is a structural formula for the rubber monomer. The question is asking you to identify the name based on the IUPAC nomenclature. So in this case, we can see that there is a double bond. So when there is a double bond, the parent chain must also contain with its functional group. So in this case, the parent chain would be this one. Or even if you want to start from here to here also can. It doesn't matter whether it must be straight or what, as long as you can continue the parent chain in one way. Yeah. So in this case, we can calculate first. The parent chain has 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. So we need to know that this CH3, this methyl group, this is a methyl group. This methyl group must be contain the smallest number. So if we look at the red number, it is 3. But if we look at from another way, it could be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for sure, we need to take the smallest number, which is 2. So in this case, this compound name will be 2-methyl butyl. This is the double bond. So double bond is at 2 and 3. So is 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 1, 3 diene. So the answer would be C. This 1, 3 is referring to the double bond here. Yeah. So let's continue with question 28. Which of the following is true to explain the coagulations of latex? So latex is actually the rubber. So we need to know that, let me draw a diagram. For example, this is the rubber. And then the surface of the latex or the rubber itself is actually negative. So it means that there is the negative charge that surrounds the surface of the latex. Yeah. So this is the latex that the rubber collect, the people that tag for the latex. So rubber particles, we need to identify the true statement for the coagulations of latex. So A is rubber particles combine, which causes the coagulations of latex. The naturally occurring rubber particles, just like what I mentioned before, it is surrounded by the negative charge. So since they are the same charge, they will tend to repel each other rather than attract to themselves. So rubber particles will not combine, and hence this statement is not correct. Okay, B, the hydrogen ions from the acid neutralize the negative charges on the protein membrane. Okay, this is the correct statement because hydrogen ion is positive since it carries the negative charge. So when I add more hydrogen ion into it, so what compound contains hydrogen ion? For sure is the acid. So when I pour the acid into the latex, the hydrogen ion will start will start to neutralize the negative charges on the protein surface. Hence the latex or the rubber will tend to clump to each other. Okay, question 3. Hydroxide ions from the ammonia solution neutralize the hydrogen ion from the lactic acid. Hydroxide ion is from alkali or base. And then the hydroxide ion chemical formula for the hydroxide ion is negative. So when negative meet with negative, they are still repel each other. So there is no neutralization occur and the latex will not coagulate. Okay, question D. Repulsion between the negatively charged particles from coming to closer to each other. Repulsion between negatively charged particles from coming to closer is no, they will not clump together because since they're repulsed, so they cannot interact with each other. So for this question, the answer would be B.